Thank you for all of you for joining us this morning for the 2016 State of the County, Leading Change and Producing Results, and an opportunity for us to share with you our successes for 2015. I last gave this address 3 years ago, and I do have to say, wow, how did 3 years go by so quickly? It's hard to believe that I'm back up here in front of you, but it has been a great opportunity to serve you for the last 3 years. To set the stage this morning, let's begin with a look at Spokane County, where we lived. There are 13 jurisdictions within the borders of Spokane County, ranging in size from 106 in Waverly to almost 210,000 in the city of Spokane. In total, there are just under 490,000 residents living in Spokane County. The regional economy is thriving on the emergence of new technologies in advanced manufacturing, professional, scientific, and technical services, healthcare research, and commercialization. New jobs in these industries are supported by the region's focus on driving K-12 and higher education initiatives to support these new economic opportunities. We are a county that is not only urban, but rural, a fact that those of us who live in the urban core often forget. Yet the economic impact of agriculture on our region is significant. Did you know that Spokane County is home to more than 2,500 farms that generate approximately $775 million annually in economic impact and employ more than 1,300 people? And not surprisingly, Ag Expo, which is hosted by GSI, is the largest trade show in the Inland Northwest. And in that 1 week alone, they have an $11 million economic impact on our community. And while wheat is still considered to be the king crop in Spokane County, it is only in terms of acreage. The top money crop is actually in another category, and it's probably not one that you're thinking about. It's mixed grains, oilseeds, dry beans, and dry peas, bringing in almost $98 million. While the beautiful farmlands and natural areas enrich and enhance our region, we also attract many residents to Spokane for the unique, and I say unique, variety of festivals and activities and sporting events that we have here. Yes, we are world renowned for Bloom's Day, Hoot Fest, the Lilac Parade. But did you know, according to Visit Spokane, we had 6,000 visitors come to Spokane for the World Science Fiction Convention last year. And more than 80,000 enjoyed the Washington State Chinese Lantern Festival in Riverfront Park. The Spokane Sports Commission supported 64 events that were held countywide and brought in 42,000 visitors and 42,000 athletes and 100,000 visitors. And this is in addition to Bloom's Day and Hoot Fest. And it included such events as Spokarnage, the Killer Roller Derby Tournament, 2 tracks, 20 teams, total derby mayhem, which will return again in August, by the way, and is an all-women's tournament. And with the NCAA Division Men's Basketball Championship on March 18th and 20th, followed by world-class skating at the arena in April for the new Team Challenge Cup, Spokane County will once again be on the international stage. Regardless of where you live in Spokane County, the quality of life that we enjoy make this community a great place to live, work, and play. So let's now take a look at Spokane County government. I know that I've shown you this slide before because I used it in my last speech, and I know that former Commissioner Milkey has also shown you this slide. But I put it up here as a reminder of what county government does, but also to answer the question I still get asked all the time, is what does the county do? As directed by our state's constitution, more than 85% of the county's responsibilities are actually regional and serve all of the residents in Spokane County, not just those in unincorporated Spokane County. This includes all programs associated with the state's criminal justice system, which includes jail, juvenile detention, prosecutor, public defender, district and superior courts, and the medical examiner's office. The assessor, treasurer, auditor, and our other elected officials, veteran services, community services, all fall under the all residents category. The services provided to our residents in unincorporated Spokane County alone, or to those that contract with Spokane County, are law enforcement, road maintenance, sewer, land use, zoning, parks, and animal control. To put in perspective the vast array of services provided by Spokane County and the ways in which we touch your lives every day, we pulled together a list of fun facts, some serious, some fun, to illustrate my point. So in 2015, did you know the auditor's office issued more than 2,700 marriage licenses? The elections department issued over 1,057,000 ballots. The Parks and Recreation and Golf Department manages more than 150 miles of trails and 13,000 acres of parks and conservation features lands. 12,000 to 1. That's the odds of getting a hole-in-one at a Spokane County golf course. And it is equivalent to playing 3,000 rounds of golf. Now, if Marshall were still here, I would have to ask him how many hole-in-ones he has had, because I definitely know he has played more than 3,000 rounds of golf at the Spokane County courses. And Utilities has more than 600 miles of sewer pipes and 30 pump stations to maintain. And it's worthy to note here that we had no overflows or backups during our recent windstorm, even though we lost power at nearly all of our pump stations, thanks to the great work of our crews. And speaking of windstorm, Spokane County provided free disposal of more than 1,000 tons of debris from the November windstorms. The Spokane County Regional Animal Protection Service, or SCRAPS, as we all know it, impounded more than 10,000 animals last year. Along with the usual dogs and cats, animal control officers also handled rabbits, pigs, sheep, goats, peacocks, homing pigeons, and yes, even an emu. So this is my friendly opportunity to remind you, if you have not had a chance to get your pet license this year, this is your opportunity to do so that when you unfortunately lose your family friend, we can actually return it to you if it ends up in our care. And for those of you who are looking at the pictures up on the screen and wondering, is that Mayor Condon up in the corner? Yes, it is. No, he has not decided to come work for Spokane County, but he is a volunteer for us. And that is a picture from the mayor volunteering for SCRAPS. So thank you for your volunteer work and service to Spokane County, Mayor. Continuing on, Building and Planning conducted close to 20,000 inspections last year. And in 2015, over 60,000 cases were filed in district court. And a personal favorite, because I always have to throw in food, though I didn't throw up any pictures of Todd Now this year. I do have to point out that the Pennsylvania Dutch funnel cake booth sold an average of 840 funnel cakes per day at the Spokane County Fair. Yes, we all like our food at the fair, don't we? So we are busy in Spokane County government. To deliver these local services and programs, the county employs more than 2,000 employees, and we have a total annual budget of more than $540 million. Spokane County government exists to serve the businesses and citizens in this community, and we do not take our role lightly. On a final note on how county government operates before moving on, I want to put up a slide that reminds you of how county government is funded. Unlike our city and state partners, county government is limited in our revenue sources to sales taxes and property taxes, versus our city and state partners who also have the opportunity to leverage county is property tax, sales taxes, and the city can leverage utility tax and business and occupation tax. This has created significant challenges for counties over the last several years, as our revenues have increased about 1 to 2%, while our expenses have increased from around 3 to 4%. It doesn't take a math genius to figure out that this is unsustainable. We can't afford to do things the same way that we've always done them. Change is inevitable. So today I want to talk to you about that change and about leading change and producing result. And I want to take a look back at some of the great accomplishments that we had in Spokane County. As you all know, change does not happen overnight. Our successes in 2015 and beyond are a result of our intentional work over the last 3 years and more. And in some departments, such as utilities, intentional work over the last 33 years. So today I'm going to share with you the results of these efforts and what we're going to be doing as we move into 2016. But first I want to provide you with an update on 2 culture-changing initiatives that we have pursued: adopting lean management and executing on a strong strategic plan. In 2013, the county launched, and I mentioned this when I spoke last 3 years ago. I actually introduced John Dixon at that time. But the county launched its lean management initiative, and we did that when we hired John Dixon as our Chief Operations Officer. All elected officials and department heads received copies of the book Extreme Government Makeover by Ken Miller. And if you have not had a chance to read it, it's actually an easy read and is very insightful. This is not a how-to book. This is a book that provides a leadership perspective on process and systems change and improvement in government. Recognizing that successfully changing and implementing any process improvement initiative would require more than reading a book, John created a 4-week intensive leadership course that he continues to teach today. The course has been offered 14 times, and almost 300 county employees, including all department heads and most elected officials, have completed the course. And as we have advanced our initiative, we have also added performance management courses, and in this coming year, we'll be offering project management training with our partners at the City of Spokane. County employees are empowered to make change, and they are producing amazing results. Since we began this effort, almost 500 lean projects have been identified, developed, and implemented in Spokane County. 358 of these projects have been completed, with another almost 150 projects underway, and the list keeps growing every day. I wanted to take a minute to just give you 3 examples of the types of projects that we have completed to give you a flavor of the process improvements that we are pursuing. In our community services, housing, and community development departments, they have streamlined the process they use in contract monitoring for 42 contract service providers in our regional support network. This has allowed them to reduce the average time from a provider visit to their monitoring report from 67 days down to 32 days. That's a 52% reduction. But the bigger picture of that is that simplification of that process saves us about $94,000 a year in labor. And while this, the next project I'd like to point out is an extensive collaboration between the IT department, the courts, and the prosecutor's office, along with the municipal police departments in the county. And this partnership led to the creation of the county's electronic search warrant application. And it's being used by superior and district courts and law enforcement to electronically submit and sign search warrants, even in the middle of the night. And that's where the important part is. Because in the past, when our law enforcement officers needed a search warrant in the middle of the night, they would head back to the department or the cop shop. They'd write up their report. Then they'd head to the judge's house and wake up the judge. And then if there need to be any revisions, they may have to go back and rewrite it and then go back to the judge's house again. You can see where I'm going with this. Now with the electronic search warrant, they can complete these warrants from the convenience of their patrol car. And as one deputy expressed, it was the easiest and fastest thing ever. From start to finish, it took less than 15 minutes. The judge returned the warrant via email in 2 minutes. I did the whole thing while sitting outside the hospital. That is improved efficiency. And Spokane County is the only county in the state with this kind of process. And congratulations to that team who won an award for outstanding innovations in traffic safety in Washington State. lost my voice about 3 weeks ago, so I still have this hanging on cold like many of us do, but at least the voice is back. The last project I'll use as an example is one from our Parks and Recreation and Golf Department. They implemented a new state-of-the-art online campground reservation system for Liberty Lake County Park. The public can now view campsite availability in real time and make their reservations online in a simple 3-step process. These are just 3 of the 358 projects that have been implemented and completed around the county. These projects have resulted in reduced wait times, allowed for online payments, simplified processes, and more. And it's saving our constituents time, and it's saving them money. Individually, they may not seem like a big deal, but let me tell you, the results of these projects have resulted in $1 to $1.4 million in annual savings and cost avoidances, simply by changing how we do things. I think that's a big deal. When we initiated our Lean Management Initiative, we also engaged our employees in strategic planning process to develop the framework that would guide our improvement projects that we developed. Our employees played a significant role in creating this improvement framework, and our resulting strategic plan and objectives are intentionally simple one-page visuals. You can see it up on the screen here, and we also have some posters around the room in case you want to take a closer look at the principles that guide our work every day. Our vision is to be the state's flagship government agency, and we made great strides in getting there in the last several years. Each improvement project that we put forward specifically ties to one of our 4 strategic objectives: to improve customer service, financial stewardship, public engagement, and employee development. To tackle our bigger county level projects, we also have we formally charter projects, and we've all through our strategic implementation team. And I'm going to touch on this team as I get into what we're doing in 2016. Yet you can see that our biggest improvements are at the department level. And as I mentioned, more than 350 county employee-led projects have been implemented and completed in the last 24 months. So a big thank you to our employees for embracing the work that they're doing every day. And I know that some of you are probably sitting here thinking, so how far will this go and how long will this last, right? Is this just a fad? I understand, because change is difficult. And county government, any government, historically, is inflexible. And we don't like to see change. I remember when I started at the county, I was told, county government's been the same for 100+ years, don't expect to change it. And I disagree. And one of my favorite moments was about a month ago when I had a county employee come up to me and said, I can't believe that we're actually changing the culture of Spokane County government. And for someone who has actually been advocating for the change since before I was elected, that was a great moment. Because I do believe that our focus on continuous improvement is changing the culture of Spokane County for the better, and that will continue to drive results now and in the future. So let's take a look at some of our other countywide successes. I do need to preface this by saying that if I were to take a department by department look at the county, we would be here all day. We have 50 departments ranging from 911 to the fairgrounds, to elections, to the sheriff's office, and everything in between. And we have a lot to celebrate, and we have a lot of successes. But understanding our time constraints and the fact that I probably get a little bit more excited about this than the average Joe, I did select just a few examples for you this morning. If you take a look at the handout, at the back of the Spokane County handout that's in front of you, you will notice that almost 70% of our general fund expenditures go to public safety. I will also point out that in that handout, there are more examples of success that I won't have a chance to go into today. But 70% of our general fund expenditures go to public safety. This includes everything from our sheriff's office, pretrial services, probation, jail, the courts, etc. So obviously, our biggest opportunity for savings in the general fund is going to be in this area. For this reason, in 2012, the City of Spokane and Spokane County signed a criminal justice reform memo of understanding and commissioned an independent study of our local criminal justice system. This study comprised of over 300 hours of public hearings and presentations by all relevant criminal justice agencies, providers, and the community. The final report was published in December of 2013 and was entitled A Blueprint for Reform, Creating Efficient and Effective Criminal Justice System. The detailed report provided 43 recommendations for reform across law enforcement, the courts, and our correctional facilities. The goal is to move from a charge-based system to a risk-based system so that we can more accurately determine who needs to be in jail, who can be safely supervised in our community, and how can we create behavior change in our offenders so that we can keep them out of our jails and in our communities and reduce the recidivism rate. Embracing these practices brings Spokane County in line with work being done across the nation and allows us to work in a best practice model. So in late of 2014, the Spokane Regional Law and Justice Council was reestablished, and the subcommittees are charged with actually carrying out these 43 recommendations. The committee works to increase collaboration, reduce duplication, and develop performance measures to actually monitor the work that we're doing, and ultimately help us address the overcrowding issue that we have in our jail. Over the past 3 years, the Board of County Commissioners has also been increasingly concerned about the length of stay and the number of individuals in our jail who have mental health issues. Did you know that currently 85% of the individuals in the Spokane County Jail have some sort of mental health issue? That's a very sad number. So in August of 2015, the Board of Commissioners signed a resolution and joined onto the Stepping Up initiative. And this is an initiative being led by the National Association of Counties and is a nationwide initiative aimed at reducing the number of people with mental health in our jails. And it's important for us to be focused if we're going to be intentional in our efforts. In addition to the Stepping Up initiative, Spokane County received the MacArthur Grant Foundation Safety and Justice Challenge Phase 1 grant. I say Phase 1 for a reason. I'll get to Phase 2 in a minute. Out of 200 applicants nationwide, Spokane County was one of 20 that was selected. That work has us focusing on reducing our jail population, reducing the length of stay in jail, and addressing racial and ethnic disparities. All of this translates into better service for our constituents, but also saving taxpayer money. Participating in the Safety and Justice Challenge Grant has resulted in an actually defined and collaborative vision towards change. At the completion of our Phase 1 activities, Spokane County was invited to apply for Phase 2, totaling $3.2 million. And we will find out at the end of this month if we will be one of the recipients of that grant. But regardless of how that turns out, I can tell you that we are committed as Spokane County and the City of Spokane continue with the work and the necessary reforms that need to be completed. And to this end, we've actually just recently hired Jackie Van Wormer. She has been serving as a consultant for this project for the last almost 2 years. And this month, she agreed to join us permanently as our new criminal justice administrator. So welcome, Jackie. And she is going to be the lead on moving these reforms forward. I just have to point out, so often in government, when we do a report, we do a 300, 400-page report. We do all this time and energy to put into it. We read the executive summary, and then it goes on a shelf and collects dust. And nothing ever happens. And I have to say I'm proud of the visionary leadership of Spokane County, the City of Spokane partners, and the members of this community who said that that wasn't an option here. That we have a responsibility to take the results of this report and to make a difference in our community. And we are doing that. So moving on to environmental services provided by our utilities department. They oversee our solid waste system, our water reclamation facility, and more. As I mentioned earlier, some of our work is intentional work that has been being done for over 33 years. We are working to continue to eliminate septic tanks in our septic tank elimination area. But we have completed over 30,000 of these. And the number left to remove is now down to around 500. That is huge success. And on these final 500, we are working with the low-income individuals to actually help them find low-interest financing so they can make their connection. Speaking of sewer, we have also designed a new trunk line that will extend sewer from Sullivan Road to the area east of the Spokane Industrial Park. This will allow for additional partnership opportunities between the City of Spokane Valley, Spokane County, and the Spokane Valley Chamber of Commerce as we pursue increased economic opportunities in manufacturing in the valley. I'm going to do a quick plug here, and I'm hoping she's still here, to say that if you have not had the opportunity to hear about the Greater Spokane Valley Chamber of Commerce's Big Five initiative, I need you to make sure you track down Catherine Morgan. She is the amazing CEO who is leading that organization, and she will give you an update on the Big Five initiative, or you can go ahead and check out their website. They're doing some great work out there. The end of 2015 marked 4 years of operations for our state-of-the-art water reclamation facility. In that time, we treated more than 10 billion gallons of wastewater and have produced the cleanest effluent in the region. And we are proud of the work that we are proud to have the most advanced facility in the nation. And if you have not had a chance to stop by our facility, I would actually encourage you to do so. It's located at the old stockyards off of Freya, and you can take a tour of the Water Resource Center, which serves as a regional education facility, meeting room, and training space. It includes interpretive exhibits and displays intended to educate our citizens of regional water resources, water quality, and water reclamation in the area. That group, our Water Resources Group, provided almost 100 educational events to over 3,200 elementary, middle, and high school students in Spokane County in 2015, and working very closely with our education partners. And I'm excited to say that we will have additional opportunities to extend the educational opportunities for students beyond the Resource Center as we work to complete the Saltese Flats Wetland Restoration Project, which will include a trail system, interpretive signs, and a visitor center. The Wetland Restoration Project is part of our long-term planning and contingency project. The exciting part of this project for me is that the government is once again thinking outside the box. The county's property is situated next to the site of the future Central Valley School District's third high school. And so what an amazing opportunity to have a 580-acre wetland classroom, if we do it right. And so Spokane County employees and Central Valley School District employees are intentionally working together to make sure that we are designing the two sites so that the trail system can connect them, and we are maximizing the connectivity for student learning in the future. It's an opportunity for partnership that is going to actually, it's taking us outside the box. We're having an opportunity to move our visitor center into an area that the high school will be able to use as classroom space, and it will facilitate learning for the future. So we wouldn't be here talking about any of these successes if it weren't for the sacrifices and dedication of our veterans. We are grateful for their service to our community. And in order for us to better serve our veterans, we have in the past 3 years established a Veterans One-Stop Center where we have brought community partners together to provide wraparound services and support. Veterans can receive financial aid, legal assistance, housing, budget, training, and employment assistance all in one location. And last year, Veterans Services assisted more than 7,200 veterans and another 3,000 family members. These services included more than $750,000 in financial aid. So thank you to our veterans who served our community. So I've taken the liberty in my last example not to present it from the perspective of our internal success, but rather from the success of those in our community who have received services from Spokane County. For those of you who are not familiar with Spokane County's Community Services, Housing, and Community Development Department, we invest $112.5 million in mental health services and programs for children and adults and elderly throughout our 8-county regional support network. In Spokane County alone, we invest $6.7 million in developmental disabilities for youth and adults. Another $5.2 million in housing and community development for anything from food banks to financial assistance and affordable housing. And $3.5 million for substance abuse and prevention and a variety of treatment and drug court programs. Spokane County's, no, I should say your investment, because it's all of us, your investment in these programs in our community are changing lives. And I want to share with you just a couple of examples. Mr. Smith, obviously his identity has been changed, is a driver for a local dispatch company. And he received a $33,000 loan last summer from Spokane Neighborhood Action Programs, or SNAP as we all know it. $10,000 of that loan came from the Spokane County Loan Fund. With this loan, Mr. Smith purchased a semi-truck and an attached car hauler and started his own business, S&S Transport Solution. With his increased income, Mr. Smith qualified for a loan and was able to buy his family a home. Another example, this past fall, SNAP was selected to provide homeless housing coordination for the Spokane County Homeless Student Program. The 3 priority school districts were identified: Central Valley, Cheney, and East Valley. The first applications were received in January of this year, and to date, 21 students have applied for assistance. Just a few examples. A single father of 2 children was at risk of having his children taken away by CPS because of the inadequate housing that they lived in. They're now appropriately housed, and his children, ages 6 and 7, can stay in their school. Another family lost everything in a house fire last year and did not have renter's insurance and found themselves living in an empty camper shell in the middle of a field. The program helped them find an apartment, and those children were able to remain in their school. And finally, a domestic violence victim and her children were at the YWCA shelter in Spokane Valley. She is now housed in a Spokane County home-funded apartment, and she was able to keep her children in school. All thanks to the investments that you have made and that we make through Spokane County to our citizens. So looking forward to 2016, as I mentioned earlier, we have created a strategic implementation team to lead bigger county level initiatives. And these 3 initiatives that I'm going to share are all county level and big initiatives. And we're launching them in 2016. And I just want to give you a really brief overview. The first of these is a 5-year financial planning model. To facilitate better planning across the county, we have tasked the committee to create a 5-year model rather than simply looking at our budget 1 year at a time. And it can be challenging, let me tell you. It can be challenging to develop a 5-year rolling budget when our revenue streams are tied to the ups and downs of our local economy. And our expenses can be changed at the whim of the state legislature. Can you say unfunded mandates? And they didn't get out of session, unfortunately, last night. So we're continuing into special session today. And all we can do is hope that they do no harm in the next few days as they finalize their budget. So we recognize that we need to take a bigger view as a financial institution of our finances as an organization, and to take a 5-year rolling view of our budget. So we challenged our departments to go out and take a look of what they felt like were going to be their biggest opportunities and their biggest challenges in the next 5 years and bring that back. And we're developing a model that will allow us to update this financial projection yearly as we do our annual budgeting, so we can keep in mind what's coming up in the future. The second major initiative that we're rolling out are key performance indicators. So I talked to you about the 500 lean projects, improvement projects that we have going on, but so what, right? We want to make sure that those improvement projects are actually having a change and making a difference every single day. So in January of this year, we actually developed our performance matrix and launched our website internally. And when we launch our new website to the public in May, you'll have an opportunity to not only see our key performance indicators by department, but you'll have an opportunity to comment on them as well. And so speaking of a new website, we are launching a brand new website in May that will be much more user-friendly. But it's not just going to be pretty. That is not why we did it. It's actually about improving our customer service and public engagement into the community. It's actually going to allow you to be able to pay bills online. It's going to allow you to access Spokane County at off hours. We'll be able to live stream our public meetings. You'll have access to all of the meeting minutes and agendas. And for those of you who really love to attend public meetings, you can sign up for notifications so you never miss another public hearing again. I know you're all excited. So amongst so much change, one result is always the same. Spokane County is a great place to live, work, and play. Our quality of life here is hard to beat. We have a low cost of living and affordable housing and a great education system. As we look to our future, we have a solid foundation on which to build our small manufacturers, our healthcare industries, and our innovative and entrepreneurial, I threw that in for you, Steve, businesses that can lead our community and the world in new directions. And Spokane County is also that cultural hub of the Inland Northwest with its vibrant arts community, and we are blessed with beautiful lakes, rivers, parks, and wild areas. It is truly a great place to live, work, and play. And Spokane County government is committed to serving you, the citizens of Spokane County, and the businesses of this community every single day. And so I'm borrowing a line from the mayor. Thank you, Mayor. We are dedicated to making sure that Spokane County is the county of choice for all of you. So thank you for the opportunity to share with you this morning. 2016 is going to be another great year. Very exciting for us, and I look forward to continuing to serve with you. And I'm going to close with my final slide, which is to remind you that if you want to support Scraps, we have an upcoming event for our Scraps Hope Foundation on April 22nd. And I hope that you can join us and help them. Thank you, and have a great morning.